people can't get to it.
I just think it looks ugly.
I like it. I think it looks sweet.
You look like a freaking Koopa, bro.
I'm not condoning $40 on tacos. I'm condoning to the fact that that was good food.
They were good tacos.
They were good tacos.
Were they $40 good?
And welcome back to the Sun Pirates TCG. Today, we're going to be going over helpful tips outside of the card game that can hopefully provide some support in getting better at the card game itself and looking to better your 9-hour days or 8-hour days and maybe even sometimes 11, depending on if you're going to nationals.
Oof.
Try to improve that tournament experience as much as you can outside of the tournament itself, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think what we want to do, though, is we want to start with kind of the night before prep and how you guys maybe all look to do that. I kind of want to start with you, Mohammed, on how you prep maybe the night before.
I sleep. That's like, so this is a topic we're going to talk about a little bit, but like, some of us like to shower the night before, some of us like to shower the morning of. I'm much more of a morning of type of shower person, so my night before is usually just brush my teeth, floss, get ready, and make sure I get like a full night's of sleep, like as close to 8 hours as I possibly can. I am not someone who like tests until 2 in the morning and then sleeps for like 5 hours, wakes up, and then goes to the venue. So that's my night before.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I like that. Just get to sleep, get your 8 hours plus, and be rested for the
These
day.
days are long. You want to be as rested as possible.
Yeah.
I can't disagree more. I can't, unfortunately.
What?
I want to.
Wait, you can't disagree more.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree more on getting the long days. And I can't
You
agree.
can't agree
Thank
more.
you.
It's
You know,
negative.
look, English is not my first language, clearly.
Colin, thoughts?
I don't know, just get a good night's rest. I mean, like usually the way I think about it for a tournament is like I think of it like a work day, like as if I had work the next morning. I'm like, all right, how much sleep do I actually need to be like cognitive for my job? I know not everybody has the same outlook on being cognitive for your work, but yeah.
Gotcha. I'm for the most part with you guys. I do love like the late night testing, just like before the night of, just to, like refresh the brain, because you don't have time to do any like play. If your tournament goes as planned, you don't have time to play before the tournament really starts usually. So I like to just have the fresh games in my head as soon as I go to bed, and then I wake up and I'm still thinking about those games or those matchups or those plays. But yeah, I do agree with the. I will say though, I am a night before shower and just like wake up and go. I think that's like for me that fits best because I'm a slow wake up, and if I shower, it's gonna take another 20 minutes or so.
Now, do you take a cold shower or do you take a hot shower?
I always take hot showers.
Okay, I'm a hot shower type of guy, so like in the morning I get that nice hot shower. It like wakes me up, gets me going. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling relaxed. I'm feeling ready.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't see the appeal of cold showers. My water heater broke the other day, and I had to take a cold shower. I did not see
Isn't
it.
there like a study or something that like cold showers are better for you though?
Yes.
Yeah,
they absolutely
so, and don't quote me. I haven't looked into it super deeply because I tried it for a while and I did it for like a month. And it's like the idea is when you like exit a cold shower, you're greeted by the heat, so your body invigorates itself or something. I don't know. I just felt like I showered in cold water and then got out. So it did not feel like I did not feel invigorated. It also, it's like you spend less time in cold showers than hot showers because your body doesn't like the cold. So you like shower much quicker, so it saves water or something. But like if you're at a hotel or an Airbnb, you're not paying for the water usually. So
All right. Well, we're done with the shower talk.
Oh no, hold on. Also, for all
Okay.
for all you guys that are watching and want to improve your tournament experience and are watching this because you want to like somehow increase your win percentage by understanding how to shower, please shower. Like
yeah,
like number one,
That's the
please
first
bathe
step.
yourself and wear some deodorant and wear some clean clothes. Like, please, I'm begging you. I don't want to be overly disparaging to anybody, right? But this is what causes like a lot of the discourse and a lot of like the memes and tropes of, you know, card game players being smelly. Like, just, you know, when we're in a tournament. We're in a confined space with a lot of people. It's hot in there. Just please, please, please maintain your hygiene.
You will play better when you like feel clean. You don't feel like grimy. Your mind is clear. But also, I know it's a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think it's a thing with Bandai, but it might be from organizer to organizer. They'll just kick you out. Like, it legitimately is in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Comprehensive rules. If you do not smell adequately, they will not let you into the venue. And if you try to come into some major events, the organizer will just be like, nah, you're not here.
Oh, that's good. That's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
I'm going to stay on this for just a second here. Know your body type. The showering at night works if you're that person that doesn't really sweat a lot throughout the night and you become more, you have more BO throughout the night. Know your body type. Shower in the morning if you feel like, throughout the night you're going to sweat a lot and become stinky again. Just don't do that. Don't do that. Next thing I want to go to, though, is how you guys pack. Because for me, I hate packing heavy, especially the day of. I know some people go with, like, a bunch of stuff because they're offloading a bunch of cards at the same time that they're doing the tournament. Because there's a bunch of people for that to buy and sell stuff. But how do you guys feel about packing for these types of tournaments? Trips as well, I guess, but yeah.
I personally like the idea of packing light, especially just on tournament day where you're just only playing the one deck, unless you're planning on playing a buddy battle and a different deck for buddy battle. Just pack your 2 decks, but one deck and a storage case or something for your participation, because sometimes you just get a lot of cards for participation. You got to put it somewhere, and per tournament rules, most of the time it cannot be in the same deck box that your deck is in, so it's got to be a separate storage location.
Yeah, I like having a little. Like something like Arvin was saying, something like a small deck box for extra storage. Maybe like even just like a small little Ultra Pro to put your promos in.
Got a little dice finder myself.
Yeah, usually for actual, for my actual playing deck, I usually use something like a Mana Moon or something with like a dice compartment inside, but still like decently compact. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen it too often. I don't know so much about One Piece, but other card games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic where, unfortunately stuff gets stolen all the time, so that's why you want to, that's the biggest reason why you would want to pack light, is so, you just don't have as much stuff to keep track of. Even with, like, binders, I know some people want to be making trades and stuff, which is fine, but I would suggest try not to bring too big of a binder, maybe try to compact into, like, a small, like, 4x4 or something. Yeah. Or 2x2, yeah, exactly.
2x2.
Yeah.
Or 1x1.
Or 1x1.
You know?
And some people do bring the 1x1s.
Personally, I mean, we were talking about trips. It really depends on the trip you're going on. So for nationals, we flew southwest, I believe. So I brought a rolling bag with about like 4 or 5 changes of clothes. Just basically a change of clothes for each day that we plan to be there Thursday night through like until Monday morning. And then just my backpack with the one deck, because you normally have to submit your deck list for all these major events either the Friday before the event, or for nationals in that case the Thursday before the event. So bringing extra cards doesn't really help. You can't change what's in your deck list for the most part. So it's usually what you submit is what you're stuck with for the most part, so there's no real reason to bring too many extra cards unless you're planning to trade or go to vendors or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I potentially pack like a singular pack of sleeves as well, like an extra one just in case like sleeves split or something. But standard sleeves come in packs of 100, so you're normally fine with that, just like the one. So I personally, for my storage, I use Gemtex. They store like your entire deck, and then they have a section to keep your leader and your Dawn, and then they have this little dice compartment that's magnetic. It's also like you want to pack light so that stuff doesn't get stolen, but in the off chance that stuff does get stolen, if your stuff's more identifiable, it's a lot easier for them to like try and help you track it down. Like, not everyone has one of these pink gigantic, not like super gigantic, like it fits fairly easily into a backpack, but like it has a design on the inside. Like, not everyone has one of these, so like if your stuff does get taken, it's fairly easy, or it's much easier to track it down than if it's in like a tiny orange box
Or like even
or something, right? Like how many people have the tiny boxes?
yeah, or if you want like a cheaper option, I mean, there's also like I don't know, you can get like the Ultra Pro like Satin Towers, right? This is like a really old and well loved one, but you know, something with like a little desk compartment at the bottom, just
Yeah.
small and compact.
Regarding the making your stuff identifiable, a name tag on your deck box also works. Just a
Yeah.
little printed name tag with your phone number. and
Another
contact information.
interesting thing, not that like everyone will do it, but like in these dice compartments, you could also like store an air tag if you want. So if someone jacks it without like looking inside that compartment, you can just track it down itself, right? So, neat little trick you can have there.
No, I like the AirTag. I got myself this recently, which has been like my new prized possession at this rate. It's like this little over-the-shoulder bag that holds like a cloth mat and my deck box, and that's been that like the few days that I've already used it feels amazing on my back, and just because I go to work with my backpack a lot for my card games, so like with my cards, so that has been helpful as well. Next thing I want to talk about, which I'm pretty what's the word I'm looking for?
Dead set on.
Dead set on is
Stubborn.
like what mats you use and what and what type of sleeves you use. Personally, as of recently, my sleeve choice has changed. I was diehard Dragon Shield fanboy, and then all of a sudden at
converted
Nationals, my friend gave me use some katanas, and I'm sold. I can't get off these sleeves. I hated them
there,
before,
boys.
which is hilarious. And then cloth mats. Those are two essentials for me. I will never not use these now, unless someone can find a better sleeve product. But cloth mats for sure.
It's
They're
okay to
light.
be incorrect.
You know
Yeah,
what? It's
okay.
alright.
Nah, me and Trevor are kind of in the same boat. I used to be way back in the day, old KMCs, the hyper mats, those were my go-to, and Katana's the closest thing I've found since, and I just can't stop using them. I tried the newer models of Dragon Shields, I tried the dual mats, I just don't like them. They just don't work for me. And they're always like, they even came out and they're like, yeah, you cannot use like different boxes together, which was a huge thing for me back in like the beginning of the game, when I would like sleeve up everything, so you could just like pick out whatever you want and like put into a deck and it meshes, and you don't have to like worry about re-sleeving all the time. Dragon Shield said, yeah, our batches are always cut differently, but like the pack you get will be cut the same. You just can't mix them. And I noticed that, and I'm like, I can't use these. I'm done. I have tried these, the Apex Victories. My one issue with these is that the white color that I got, the only one they had in stock at the time, is not 100% opaque. So for this game, you can't really use them, unfortunately. But that's remedied if you have like the black colored sleeves instead. So that's my take on that. I'm also very much a cloth fanboy, like Mr. Trevor himself. I can't not play on a cloth mat anymore. I still have some rubber ones, but the glide on the cloth just feels so good.
Yes. It's
Right.
the glide. It's always the glide.
It's always the glide. You just like, you take your hand, you just like, and you're
All
like,
right.
oh, that feels
Well,
so good.
let's
I don't
hear
know,
from
I
the
feel like
incorrect
if-
side, Mohammed.
Dude, I don't know. I feel like you're playing on a towel when you're playing on a cloth mat. Like, I don't... Yeah.
What?
It moves too much.
Okay, look,
Unbelievable.
I'll put it out there. I feel like Arvin's cloth mat is a towel. This is cloth.
Yeah, the cloth mats we use.
Love you, Arvin.
Love you. But still, the cloth mats me and Trevor use, those are cloth mats. Those feel nice.
What keeps them down? What's the difference?
I feel
Where'd
like-
you get your cloth mat?
Okay, so
Pyramid.
this is pyramid.
So Pyramid uses a lot of different fabrics, so it might just be the fabric you got,
Yeah.
right? Like, I have a number of Pyramids, and for the most part, they all feel very nice. I have no complaints with any of them. Similarly, I have no complaints with Katanas. Those things
Okay.
shuffle like butter, dude.
I don't know, man. Like, just get a
Well-
rubber mat. I still feel like it slides the best when I'm trying to do like the Yu-Gi-Oh graveyard slide. I don't know. Some cloth mats just don't cut it for me.
You're using the wrong cloth mats.
I think Colin and I use the same backpack, so it's pretty convenient to put our mats
Yeah,
on
that's
the
true.
on the back of it, and easy access.
I know. You both use the Gemtech backpack, right? Because I took that one to nationals and I liked it, but I still think this is my go-to. Dude. It's not really easy to get this anymore, but it's like the ultimate guard, like turtle something or other. It's like supposed to be anti-theft with the way the zipper is. Like people can't get to it.
I just think it looks ugly.
I like it. I think it looks sweet.
You look like a freaking Koopa, bro. Like when you're like turtle shell.
Yeah, I'm also 6 feet tall and 1 billion pounds. I'm gonna look like a Koopa no matter what backpack I wear.
Look, I will say I think the Gym Tech backpacks are amazing. From what like after seeing them, Mohammed's backpack that goes crazy. I've seen like you pull out like 30 deck boxes out of.
Oh yeah, dude. 4
rubber mats in there, 2 cloth. Yeah, I'm like, what are you? How did you?
Yeah, well, I have hand sanitizer, a couple of pens, spare dice, 2 cloth mats, 4 rubber mats, 3 of these Gemtech deck boxes, and then 3 of these dice winder deck boxes.
That's crazy.
And I can still probably fit a bit more in here.
And Mohammed's back is still broken to this day. That's the crazy part.
Look, man, it's called going to the gym, dog. You gotta work out. I'll take you one day, Trevor. Don't worry.
We'll ignore that one there.
I
mean, Colin and Arvin, are you guys the same on sleeves? Are you guys dragon shields together, or are you guys?
Bro, dual mats all the way, baby.
I can't do it.
I used to do dual mats, but I've just been enjoying katanas recently.
I will agree. Like, if you're single sleeving, katana is the better sleeve, especially for events, because they have that nice. I feel like for single sleeve, it's like perfect because of like the way the sleeve is designed. It's just like that. It's like that ideal width and shuffle field. For me personally, because I double sleeve all of my decks, just because my cards are expensive, and also just I'm so used to like that thickness of my cards. I still prefer Dragon Shields just because I feel like it covers the double sleeve better. Like if you're doing like the Dragon Shield inner sleeves or KMC inner sleeves, I just feel like when you're putting it into a katana, it like rides up a bit as you shuffle your deck, which yeah.
I'll agree to that. For double sleeving recently, I cannot with katanas, and the Dragon Shield inners are too inconsistent for me to sleeve with the katana.
No, I similar to Colin, my decks are worth a fair bit of money, so I double sleeve them, but I've shuffled double sleeve katanas just fine. Personally, I like side loading inner sleeves, but that's a debate that.
Let's debate this one.
Oh boy, I don't know, man.
Top loading or
sealables?
Shields. Top loading or sealables?
I hate sealables.
Okay,
I hate sealables.
Not sealables for play.
I hate sealables at all.
Sealables, yeah, like heck with the sealables. I want to talk about this side loading and top loading. Why do you have side loaders?
Why not? I noticed that every time I tried to use top loading sleeves, the sleeve itself would ride up when you like tried to put it into a katana. It just like did not want to go in. But it doesn't happen with side loadings because they load from the side. So that I just like side loading for that reason.
I feel like that defeats the purpose of double sleeving though. Like some idiot on the table like spills her soda over and like your cards are wrecked.
That was where I was headed with it. I was like, dude, if I just spill one little bit of water in there, it's on the side. It's open. It's free season. You know, it's open to get damage.
It's free season. I don't know. Maybe I need to try it again. Maybe the formula's improved, but I don't want to go back. I don't like Dragon Shields, man. I can't sleeve with them. If I can't perfect fit. I will say this about Dragon Shields. The Dragon Shield outers, the clear matte outers, are actually very nice. I like those a lot.
Oh, like for anime
especially
sleeves,
if you want to play. Yeah, especially if you want to play with character sleeves. So like for my Dawn cards, like these type of character sleeves.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
like the Uta sleeves, or like if you order Comiket sleeves from Japan or anything like that. Dragon Shield matte outers are fantastic. They just like go over it very well. They're very consistent. I have no complaints with that. And like usually you don't have enough character sleeves to sleeve an entire collection, so my biggest issue with like the different batches being like miscut to each other isn't something you have to deal with, because usually the character sleeves come in like packs of in this game 10, or like outside of this game like 50, maybe 100, and then your Dragon Shield clear outers come in packs of 100, so that works perfectly for that.
Gotcha.
But maybe I'll try top loading perfect fits again. I don't know, man. I've been enjoying the side loaders. We'll just have to see.
I was just gonna say, if they work, stay, because like recently I've just not been able to get them to work.
That's my thing. Like, that's what my Sakazuki stuff is in right now, is like they're side loaded in here. You can't really tell them there. Let me.
We'll never be. Okay, yeah. You have to pull it out.
Yeah, like you could see like the side loading on here. It like sits inside the sleeve perfectly. And it doesn't really write up.
Doesn't write up at all. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I feel like
you could see.
I feel like sealables would be the same way though. If you use a sealable, it also like would be easy to slide in and not write up.
The issue with sealables is if you
You have
ever
to
need
commit
to
to
like
like.
de-sleeve it, it's such a process, and like that always risks like brushing like in like trying to seal the sleeve. You potentially like risk like bonking the card a little bit on the bottom when you're like going to sleeve it in.
It's not gonna nick the card. It's like it's like 1/10 of a millimeter of
It's
plastic.
Plastic can nick cardboard. Don't say it like it can.
It's
I
such
don't
a
think
thin
it's
piece
hurting
of
your precious
plastic.
cardboard. We need to give cardboard a little bit more credit.
Especially
I work
Bandai
in a
cards.
card shop. I give
Yeah.
I give Bandai cards the most credit. I still won't give it the credit over plastic, dude.
Also, this podcast is in no way sponsored by Dragon Shield or Ultimate Guard. But Dragon Shield or Ultimate
there are
Guard,
currently
if you're
no
listening,
sponsors.
it could be. Just saying.
This podcast is currently not sponsored by Dragon Shield, Ultimate Guard, Gemtech, Mana Moon, any brand we mentioned. These are just Pyramid,
Aquafina.
these are
when we
just
go
all
about talking about water.
Zephyr
Or Raid
Hills,
Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends, Gamer Subs. If anyone's wondering why my water bottle is colored, yeah. But if any of them would like to sponsor us,
Okay, wait.
I'm not opposed.
All right. No,
Anyways.
I think the sleeves and mats are a hot topic because I know everybody's different. I know like even people use those like single cloth mats. Those look really nice. I do want to try some of those myself. Is the like very thin. I've seen a few of them like players using them, but
I
those
don't
look
know,
good.
man.
Yeah.
Single player
Those
cloth
look amazing
mats.
to me. Because I hate whenever I pull this out. It's a pet peeve. But when I pull this out and the other person doesn't have a mat and they go, "You want to give me the other side?" I'm like, no. So I'd rather just
Well, I
not
just
have
tell
that
them
question
no.
be. But yeah, I just don't want the conversation to happen though. That's one extra piece of conversation that doesn't need to happen. Get a single mat sleeve, and that's what I'll probably try next.
I don't know, man. I see those. They look way too thin for me. Those to quote Colin, those look like hand towels. I don't.
Well, it's
They
good,
all look
so
like
when
hand
you're
They
towels.
lose the thickness.
Yeah, but whenever you're done beating your opponent, you can wipe your hands with it. You know, you wipe your hands.
I'm
with
not
the
wiping
situation.
my hands with my playmat.
Oh, actually, hold on. That actually
Use it
isn't
like a
the worst
rag.
idea, especially if your opponent's like kind of greasy or something. Again, not to be overly disparaging to anybody, but I have had a couple of moments where I'm like, I shake the hand or I bump the fist at the end of the match, and I'm like, I need to wash my hands.
That's why I carry hand sanitizer, baby.
All right. Next topic I kind of want to go to, which is definitely gonna happen during the tournament, is like when to take a walk and when to know to like decompress, or like, and even from a high or a low, like because there are moments where you need to get off your high horse just for a little bit, just to make sure you're not going overboard, and there are moments whenever you've been gut punched because like you made a misplay or just you bricked, and you need to go take a walk because of the environment isn't healthy for you to be in while you're sitting there watching other players play maybe. When do you guys feel that that's best? Do you guys just ride the high? Do you not take a walk then? Or when you're sulking, do you just play it out and just force yourself to be better? Or do you go take a walk?
Usually I will like catch up with people between rounds. That's when I get my like breath of fresh air. I do need to do it more often where like you're riding a high, you need to like go take a breath, because that happened to me at Nationals. I played not a local but like part of our group on stream. I played Nobu. I was on Sake, was on P. Luffy, and if I thought about it for like 5 seconds, because we were both I believe 4-0 or 5-0 at that point, and if I just thought about it for like 3 more, 4 more, 5 more seconds, I would have realized if he has the sheep's horn, I lose no matter what I do, so I need to play to my out of him not having it.
Gotcha.
Which if I did, I won the match, and because I didn't, I lost.
Yeah.
So it's like if I took that breather and like thought about it, like instead of like riding that high of I'm currently 4-0 or 5-0, then could have been different. But that's my take. I think that if you're riding a high, you need to make sure to stay level-headed, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Like the fact that you're undefeated or whatever your current record is doesn't really matter in your current game state. All that matters is the gameplay itself, right? Just gotta remember that and just keep telling yourself that. And eventually, like as you've already practiced and tested, so that practice and testing will give you a win, and you could ride the high after the match. But during your match, it's hard to say that actually helps you,
especially in like a best of one
match
scenario. You always have to approach it as you and your opponent are both like 0-0. There's only one game on the line, right? There are no do-overs, so like it doesn't matter that you currently 5-0. You're 1-0 against 5 different people. It's entirely different, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it definitely varies from person to person too. I feel like for me personally, if I'm, if I make a punt and I lose a match and I'm pretty tilted about it, I think those are the best times where you want to get some fresh air to decompress. I wouldn't even want to talk with any of my friends for like just a few minutes, especially if you have a lot of time in between a round. Obviously, some matches you might have actually got into time and then you're like right away into the next round. But if you do have that time, like 10 to 15 minutes before your next round, just take a walk, step outside of the convention center for a bit, get that fresh air, and then I wouldn't even talk or I wouldn't even be on my phone. Just walk out, touch grass.
if there's some grass to touch, man.
Yeah, if there's some grass to touch, and then just let it go. That's the best way I can describe it.
Also, it doesn't have to be like a walkout, right? Like just do something that will like calm you down. Like if you want to listen to music, like if you brought like AirPods or headphones or something, just like sit in a corner, take in some chill vibes, whichever thing helps you relax. Just make sure to like decompress, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be riding too high or like stay down in the lows.
Yeah, and then afterwards you can go to your trusted friend and then vent to them about how like this guy totally sacked you or how you super punted your game.
On my point, had 3 benches in his life.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I definitely take the walk. I had to take a walk at Nats for sure. There was a moment where I was just like, like something happened where like the repairs put me into an unfavorable matchup after being in a favorable matchup. I was like, all right, yeah, no, I got to take a break from this one. I got to walk away. I think it was like actually at the lunchtime specifically. I was like, I had to like walk away for a little while after that, and then, not lunchtime.
Lunchtime, like 30-minute break they gave us.
Yeah.
We didn't start
great
until after lunch.
No, yeah. And then there was I will say though, for me, I don't know about you guys, but all right, I've heard your guys' takes on it. When I'm riding the high, I ride the high. I want to sit at wherever I'm at, and I just want to feed off of it. I want to watch other players play good. I want to proceed to keep playing good, and I think that's what keeps me in that mentality, is like being around my friends, watching other players keep playing well while I'm also playing well, and that feeds me to keep playing well.
I'm gonna go on a tangent for just a minute since we touched on it.
Sure.
Definitely bring like some light snacks with you and some water, because like you usually with these longer events they will give you breaks like halfway in, maybe like after 3, 4, or 5 of your like 8 or 9 or 10 rounds. They'll be like, yep, we're taking a 30-45 minute break and then we're gonna get back to it. And usually if you don't want to drive in these like densely like touristy areas, like lots of traffic, your only alternative, if you didn't bring something, is like overpriced convention food. It's not very good. It's not very good for you. It like sits in your stomach a lot of the time. Just like bring something like this, like a water bottle you can refill. There are almost always water fountains that you can like fill them up at. I personally will bring my jug. There are players that will bring gallon bottles of water with them so they don't have to refill it. But just something so that you just like have something light in your stomach if you get hungry, so you don't get distracted, is usually a good bet as well. The $15 double tenders at Nats did not hit and that's not Nax's fault. That's the convention center's fault.
Or like your $10 corn dogs.
That's just convention center food.
Yeah, the $10 singular corn dog.
That's what I had.
I will say Moses got him, but he got like it was way too expensive. But it was the best food at that convention. So there was like $40 tacos. You got like a giant bowl of, you got a giant bowl of meat and rice and some taco, like a ton of taco shells, and that was hands down the best food at that convention center.
Bro, you could went to like a KBBQ dinner for $40.
We were at Nats. We couldn't do anything. We had to just eat the food that was there.
Bring a snack. Don't spend $40 on some tacos.
I'm not condoning $40 on tacos. I'm condoning the fact that that was good food.
They were good tacos.
They were good tacos.
Were they $40 good?
You know what? At that time, yes.
All right, Mohammed, would you rather have $15 for bad food that affects you for the rest of your day and affects your tournament experience, or $40 for good food that boosts your tournament experience?
Absolutely.
I think I'd rather spend $0 and stay hungry.
I think they both weigh down your tournament experience. Why would I get full on tacos, bro? Like, I don't want a food
They were
coma.
like no, they were simple tacos. They weren't crazy, and like you got portion control, and there were small tacos like Moses shared with me. It was better than having anything else at that convention center. I'll say that right now. But the next thing I want to talk about is because it was like kind of coinciding with like the decompressing and on when and not to is like, do you take notes, or when to like what's like the type of notes you guys take if you do take notes? For me specifically, it's like I bust out the phone, I have a little notes list, and I just put matchup, what I won with, and like the most impactful situation that won me the game is kind of what I put. Because more often than not, after like, especially after the night, like 7th and 8th round, I'm losing it at that point. Like I'm forgetting a lot of what happened in the earlier round, so I have to make sure that I at least have a key note. So whenever friends ask me about it later, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is what happened in round 1. This is what happened in round 3.
Something to remind you of the game, right?
Absolutely. I also put die roll if I did win or not. I've started doing that more recently, which has been helpful just to remember, because I was big in matchups specifically.
Yeah.
But how do you guys take notes? If maybe it's the same way, if you guys elaborate a little bit more on it.
For the most part, I'm the same. I put down at the top of my note, I'll just like be like, whatever the event name is, the deck I took, and then each round I'm like, what deck my opponent's playing. If they're a known player, I might put their name. Otherwise, I usually don't. If I won or lost the die roll, if I won or lost a match, and then like key points that happened in the match, like something to reflect on if I made a mistake, or like something that was like very heads up that I did, so I could like keep track of it. Just stuff like that. Keep track of like what happened, how the game played out. Not like full detail. And like this, I know this happens with me and Trevor, but as the rounds go on, our notes get shorter and shorter. We're just like, because you're like trying to like stay focused on the rest of the event, and like you get less and less round between times. And now they even like shortened the round time as well. They announced that recently, that IRL events are going from 35-minute rounds to 30-minute rounds. So just, you gotta take that note quickly and move on, right? Like something to remind you and keep track of what happened if someone asks, or if you want to make a report on online somewhere.
Colin, Arvin?
It's the same. For IRL events, I definitely take notes. For webcam events, I usually just do die win, and if I win in the matchup, and then I usually just record the gameplay.
Yep.
So I have that later for reference if I need to. I don't need the notes.
I'm actually the opposite of Arvin. For in-person, I've basically never taken notes. I really should, but usually my time in between rounds is like that decompressing time, like like we talked about earlier. For online, I do though. Like especially for webcam, I'll have like a separate tab with like a little Google Doc for myself, and I'll just like quickly type out whatever was notable that happened in that round. Even too, I would even write down things that my opponent did that I either really liked or I really didn't like, in terms of if it was a good play or not, because those are the things too where when you're looking back in your matchups, you need to be cognizant of like, oh, I'm like 4-4 against the Katakuri matchup, so I must have a really good Katakuri matchup. But then you look back at your notes, it's like, oh, my opponent punted here, or my opponent drew really poorly here, or they miscounted
None
the
of
last
them
turn
drew
here.
10 cost Big Mom.
Yeah, or none of them drew 10 cost Big Mom, and you look back in your notes, it's like, oh, like, either my opponents played poorly or they were just extra unlucky. Like, so I think that's what notes are really helpful for, is like learning your matchups too. Also, like, bad interactions with your opponents too. For example, there was a webcam event I had a few months ago where I had a slightly uncomfortable interaction with my opponent, in the sense that they only pile shuffled their deck. They didn't like do a normal shuffle or anything. They only pile shuffled and presented their deck to cut. And we had a bit of a back and forth. I'm like, hey, could you please shuffle your deck properly, etc., etc., etc. I won't go into too much details on how the whole thing played out, but like, writing down those kind of interactions, just in case, like, someone tries to get at you, or like a judge tries to talk to you later and you need that, you want to have your story straight. I think it's helpful too. Thankfully, not that it like really had to go to that extent, but just in case, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, like, it's always best to like be over prepared than under prepared in that sense, and
Right.
like taking notes helps you keep track of like everything that's going on. For me especially, I won't get up from my table in an IRL event until I've submitted the result, either win or loss, and then taken my real quick note, unless like that we were in time, which fortunately has not happened. I have not been the player that has gone to time in a round. I've come close, but not been in overtime. Usually, me and my opponents have been like fairly good about like playing at a reasonable pace.
Yep.
So it's just like, as long as you keep like a level head, like if you need to tell your opponent like, hey, it's been like 2 minutes, take an action if they've just been like sitting there or something. But just like watch for that, I guess, is another big thing. Like, you don't want to ever be like sweating the clock too much if you can avoid it.
Yeah, and for all you guys out there too, like, if you're ever in those sort of scenarios where like you think your opponent is up to something kind of shift or kind of shady, please do call a judge. Don't feel bad. That's what the judges are there for. They're just there to make sure that the game is being played correctly and everything is held up to a standard. Even like before or after a match too, you might, if you have extra time, feel free to talk to a judge, ask some questions. Hey, was this interaction correct? Should it have gone differently? Things like that. That's what they're there for. So do take advantage of that when you can.
Like, the judges are being paid compensation plus goodies plus whatever else to be there. Just, you don't have to make that free, right? They are there for a reason, to do a job. You should feel free to call for a judge whenever you like have a question about the game state or something's up. And this is advice coming from 4 people who have all passed the judge test. Like, that's what we like pass the test for, right? Is to make sure that the game is being played properly, both in terms of card interactions and in terms of like player interactions, right?
Exactly.
So that's exactly like a very important tip for like these tournaments. Like, if you ever think like something's going on with your opponent or you're ever unsure on a ruling, just make sure to call. Like, if you think that card has an errata or something, like that's a big thing with like set 1 cards. If your opponent's playing with like, or if you're playing with like a set 1 Eustace Kid SR and he's rested with a Dawn and your opponent tries to attack your leader saying, yeah, this says I can't attack characters, but I can attack leaders because leaders aren't characters. You're like, well, this is errata. And he's like, but that's not what the card says. You just call the judge, right? Like, you're fairly certain that's what your card does. You call the judge and the judge is there to clarify for you, not anything else, right? So also, especially for like webcams too, we touched on like the webcam events a little bit. Just test your setup beforehand. You never want to. I did not test my setup beforehand. It ran well for one event, and then I go to play in my next webcam event and it just does not want to work. I had to borrow a webcam from my brother to set up and play in that event, and it just like, fortunately my opponent was very friendly. He was very nice. It took me like 5 minutes to set up, and we just like played our match. So that was like very nice of him. Shout outs to that guy. I'm so sorry I don't remember your name, but you're a real homie. But yeah, now we have our setups done, tested, check to see that like your camera angle when you angle it down is like good. Like, you don't show your hand when you're like holding it. check the lighting to make sure like nothing like hyper glares on your cards. A lot of people play with like glossy sleeves or very shiny cards, me and Colin especially, so we make sure that like the lighting in our setup doesn't mess with like people being able to like see what's in play or get confused about that. So that's like super important.
Yeah, and like definitely, again, that's what friends are for, right? To definitely get a buddy to, you know, play a couple webcam games with you on Discord, like the day before or the morning of, to make sure everything is, you know, it's working properly.
For webcam events especially, like your deck list usually isn't due until around just shy of midnight Pacific time. So depending on your time zone, like Eastern time, you have like until almost 3 a.m. to submit your deck list.
It always
Your
depends on
buddy
the
it always
TO.
depends on the TO, but for a lot of them, you have between like midnight and 3 a.m. to get your deck list. You and your buddy can just like hop on after work, after a 9 to 5, or like at like 8 p.m. or something, get a bit of testing, like webcam testing done, and you can finalize your list with something you're happy with, and then submit it, and then get rested for the next day, right? So that's always a great way to get set up and get like that extra edge off.
I don't know. I think with that though, I think that covers about almost everything that I think we can think of for these outside game tips, because a lot of the game is outside. Like, you know, for 30 minutes you're inside of the game. It's how do you take care of yourself outside of it, or what do you do in between rounds that matters a lot too. And if we ever think of something else, maybe we'll do something a little bit in the future that covers even more topics on it. But I think other than that though, I don't think there's much else that we can cover, right guys?
I mean, for you guys watching, if you have any other recommendations, you know, put it down in the comments. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys.
I think other than that, then that's another episode of It's Connects, and then we'll see you guys on the next video.
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when our next videos are popping up.
Absolutely.
Be
Yeah.
sure to comment what deck you think Arvin's going to take to Peoria 2. If you're right, then I don't know, but you'll be correct at least.
Gotcha. All right.
I won't give any context to that.
No context. None needed. He'll walk in. You can ask him what he's playing.
That's right.
Maybe something spicy.
Right. See you
Yeah,
see you guys
Marvin
next time.
plays something spicy.
Yeah, I
See
play
ya.
spicy decks. For sure.
Take it easy, guys.
See you guys.